Hello guys, welcome back, and we'll go straight to our next step, which is introducing our walls. Okay, so these walls are 2 to 5 walls, and what we would do is to create that wall type. Okay, now you can do that under the architecture tab, wall panel, build panel rather. You have wall 2 or WA for short, and we select that. And on default we have some types of walls around here, so we'll just pick a plain wall, generic, or generic 200 rather. Now when you select the wall, you have to set the base constraint, right? So I set that to my ground floor. Top constraint, we want that to be on the first floor, okay, so that it doesn't go above. And then the top offset, we also have to set that. Remember what we did when we were setting up the levels, where we said we wanted the slab to be beneath the level line. So because of that, we're going to have a top offset of minus 150, which makes the total unconnected height 3.6. Alright, and with all that done, then we can start drawing our walls. Now we now also have to edit the wall. Duplicate this and just name it, let's say CMU 225. Okay, 225 mm. Or 225 mm CMU wall. Okay, and then we edit and change the size and apply and click OK, and so we can start drawing. So I would what I would do, okay, let me just draw a wall here for reference, so that I can always pick and create similar from here. But before I start drawing, I would like to create the grids so that it's easy to align. So to create a grid, come here under architecture, datum tab, you have grids, right? I will select it. I would use the default, and I would pick, and so I'll just pick from this reference drawing. Okay, and I would select this one. The problem with that is, one, it's showing that this is slightly off axis, and then two, it doesn't extend all the way to the beginning of the to the end. Okay, so but we can always maneuver that. So if it's saying it's slightly off axis, let's try and align that. If I have this wall straight, I'll use AL or align under the modify, and select this and align this to this so that it becomes straight. I'll also pull this, pull the end, the extent to this point, and pull this to this point. Alright, and with that done, I would move this to this level. We just align it to this wall here, and I'll change this to A. So one thing with grids, once you change the first one, the following sequence would go in the same with the same type of character. So for instance, like I've changed this to A now, the next one, if I copy this, is going to be B. Alright, and if I continue that way, it's going to be C, D, E, and all. But if I copy, let's say C, and I change this to 3, the next one is going to go into numerical figures 4. Alright, so just something to take note of. It always reads from the last reference. Okay, so I'll just change this to C and change this one to D, and I'll copy this and I'll just paste with this. This one is supposed to be here. No, move. I'll copy this and I'll paste this here and here. Okay, so we have A to H, and I can right click, create similar. This time I'll just draw instead of picking, and I'll draw this way, and I'll move this to this point, move to this point, and I'll copy this to no, I didn't change this, so I'll change this to 1, change this to 2, and then I'll copy from there so that it goes in the same sequence. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So with that done, our grids have been established. We can also take references and confirm if they are this actual size. So we can check and see if we need further adjustments, and I think we do. So pick this one, here, here, here. Okay. So this is 1, 4, 2, 4, and this. So this is accurate 2.1. So we can make this adjustment, I think, from here, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see. If we change this to 3225 and change this one to 600 and change this one to 2025 and change this one to 900 and change this one to 2325. So this is 1725. Okay, 1725. No, 2325. From here we're going to change this to 1725. Okay, and with that done, I think our grid aligns here, and we'll do the same thing here from this side. Let me see which is closer. Okay, this is closer, so from this side going up. So adjust this to 5025. Adjust this to, this is 2.4. We'll adjust this to 2625. We'll adjust this to 1500. We'll adjust this to 1425, and we would adjust this to this is much, 5888. Wow. Okay. Okay. Okay, it was missed. This is not the grid. The grid position is supposed to be here. So we can so what happened here is this reference from the grid is going to the end instead of the grid position on this reference drawing. So what we can do, let's subtract. So 225 divided by 2 is 112.5, and we can do 5888 minus 112.5. 5888 minus 112.5, so 5775.5. That's what we're supposed to be having. Okay, so we would put that figure here, 5775.5, and yeah, 0.6. So give or take, these are the dimensions for our grids, and with that then we can now trace out our walls. Okay, so let's go to this. I'll turn off the snaps for the PDF so that I don't pick any of those edges. If I'm selecting anything now, it's just the grids, and I can also turn this off so that I don't select the PDF at all. Same thing with this line, I would pin it, and yeah, I can't select it, so anything I'm selecting now is just the grid lines or my dimensions or my walls. Okay, and what I would do now, I would right click this, create similar, make sure all my settings are correct, check the location. I will keep it at center or center line, offsets none, joint allow, and we can start drawing. So from this grid to this grid, I'll just pick, I'll place here. So I'll just get the boundaries first. Place this here and place this here. Okay. Now can also just click this, take this here, from this grid to this point. I'll just join this. So because of the reference image, it's very simple to draw. Just follow the grid. Okay, here there's no grid on this line, so we we'll use the dimension to adjust this position. And for this one, we can pull this way, follow the grid, pull this way, follow the grid, pull this way, follow the grid, take this way, follow the grid, this way. Okay, there's no follow this grid, and just take this here, and we'll adjust this with dimensions. Same thing with this and I'll use trim and just connect these two, and I'll create the wall again, follow this grid, align it here, follow this, no, we'll join this grid to this. So we also have some 150 walls, so we can also create that. We'll right click this, and we'll just edit this, duplicate, and then rename this to 150, and delete this one. Okay, and I'll call this 150. Okay, apply. Okay, and I'll just add that to this portion. Where else? Okay, here. And I will take this one and align it here. And you can see all our walls have been covered. Okay, if we go to our 3D view, we'll see what our building is looking like. Okay, so now let's clean it up on the ground floor, and we can, so now we can see that our walls are covering our reference diagram. So two things we can do to make it easy for us to look at the diagram: we can change this to wireframe, but if we do that, we can see that we can't see the walls because they now become transparent. So what we can do is to change the visibility graphics of the walls, and that happens on this setting here in the properties panel. Now we can select this and override by category. That means for this particular view, all the walls take the setting we set, take the new changes we make to the wall settings. But I would rather just do it in the visibility graphics. The faster way would have been using a template, a view template, so that we can also apply it to the first floor. Maybe that's what we'll just do. So I'll just create this view template. Alright, under identity data, view template, new architecture plan, and I'll come to walls under model. So if you check visibility graphics model, I would select walls, cut pattern, and cut lines. I can change maybe the color. I would use blue, and weight override none. I will use this. I can use the blue also for the hatch or the pattern. I'll use the blue color, and I'll select a particular hatch which I have here. Diagonal up 1.5. This is down, diagonal up 1.5. Click OK and apply. Now click OK and apply. So I've applied that template to this view, and what that has done is to, as you can see, all my walls are now highlighted in blue. Okay, now I need to change this to wireframe. So under model display in the template. I change this to wireframe and apply. I click OK and apply. So what that does, at least I can see the reference of my 3D walls, but also look at the reference of my drawing. Okay, so with that done, now let's get our dimensions and make everything exact. So I'll pick the dimension tool and I'll start from here, from the right to my left, and then from the bottom to the top. Okay, so from right to left, this between this so for dimension, now for taking these measurements, I will do it face to face. That's from this face to this face. Right now it's on wall center lines, so when I select the dimension, I can change this to wall faces. Okay, and I'm able to pick the face of the wall instead of the center. I can still pick the center, but it's not default going to the center, except I go close to the center. But I can pick the faces, so I'll pick this face and this face, and it's giving me 5.1 accurate. What we have, this face and this face 3.3, this face and this face 3.825, and that's accurate with what we have here. And I'll check this face and this face 7.2, mostly because we have the grids, made sure the grids were the same dimensions with the reference drawing, so that's why most of the spaces are accurate. Okay, so we can still check more if we want. For this to this 2175. So but for these ones that didn't have grids on them, we'll have to do them manually. So if I pick this and to this, we see that it's more than 2.4, so I can select the wall and adjust this to 2.4. Okay, I can take my dimension again and check here 3 meters, it's correct. I check here 2.4 accurate. I can check my stairs 2.7 accurate. I can check from here to here 4725, yeah, accurate. This is 4950 to the end, and we can also check that, yeah, it's accurate. And then you can check from here to here. Okay, so we have 1 mm difference on this end. Let me confirm it with this. Let me see, from here to here, yeah. So we can select this wall and just adjust it to 5550. Okay. Let me see the grid. Let me see if I select this and check the center to center. Okay. Okay. All right. Now this end, let's get this correct. This is supposed to be 1.8. Now we have 1825. I would do 180. Same thing here. I would, okay, I would get the end and make this 360. Is that what we had? Oh no, okay, 360 from the center of this wall. Okay. So one thing, instead of deleting and doing the drawing the time, adding the dimensions again, I can select it and edit the line placements, the witness lines placements, right? So I'll make this now to 360. Yeah, it aligns with this. And let's just confirm a couple of them once again. From this to this, we had 5625 correct. Confirm this correct. 1.2. Confirm this. This is 1488. No, it should be like 1.5. Okay, so here we have 975 from the end to this, so let's get that 9 to this. We have 975, and from here to here we have 3 meters, and so this is 1.5. Yes. Okay, what else? This is 1.8 accurate. 2.175 accurate. Okay, so with that done, I think we have our ground floor typically aligned. Okay, so to do this for the first floor, it's very simple. If you come to the first floor level, alright, now since we already have our grid placements, we have everything aligned, so I can select, let me select this entire grid. We have them aligned, so we can move this to, so we see where grid 1 and A intersect. We can move this intersection to that point and begin to trace our drawings from there. Okay, which is this. Alright, and with that done, let's pin this, and so that I won't be able to select it, and then we can simply take out our walls. WA for shortcuts, check the wall type 225, and then we can simply just draw. Let's just draw this from this end to this end. Okay, no, let me turn off the snaps. Yeah, so that I'm not able to select it. Now I'll turn this back on. So I'll delete this and start it afresh. Pick this, my grids. Pick my grids to send, grid to grid. I'll pick this. Okay, I don't have any grid on this cantilever, so I'll just join this here and join this here. Okay, now join this to this, this to this, and align this staircase. This is not straight. Bring this down. TR for trim. Okay, and just trim this. And I'll just draw this and join this to this. So would adjust this wall manually because there is no grid on this side. Same thing with this wall, but for this one we can just join this to this and align this onto this, and for from this end, we'll take it up. Okay, from here we join this to this. For this point, no grid, so we do them manually. So we just draw a wall to indicate that we have an element there. And I'll join this to this one, join this to this, and I'll just use the 225 wall here, then I'll change it to 150. Okay, then I can select that and put this here, and yeah, basically all our walls for the first floor done. And I simply just apply the template we created for the ground floor, apply it here, and I have the same features. So that's the power of using templates for Revit, or for your views rather. Okay, so let's align. Let's start with this one. So this to this is supposed to be 2.1. Now from here to here should be 5775. And then from here to here, this is supposed to be 218 rather. And here to here, 2475. And where else? Okay, here. This is 2.1, and here is to be 1.8. Okay, please save your work. I'm not saving because I have constant power, so endeavor to save whenever you get the prompt. We don't have a size for this, so let's get our size from yeah. Okay, I think it's aligned with this. Yeah, I think so. So I will just put this here. Yeah, it is. Then I'll join from here to here 4.2. From here to here we would so 900, 750, and 900 plus 750 plus 825, 2475. 2475. Is that it? That's correct. No. Okay, to the end. Okay. So I can adjust this and place it here. Yeah. 2475. Oh no. 2475. Yeah. So that's accurate. Where else? Here, family lounge. I think it's 4.2, same alignment with this, so I can just book that for 200. Yeah. And where else? I've aligned this so it's typically aligned. So let's get out this balcony from here to here and here. So I'll just align this to this point. It's already aligned to the grid, and then here to the balcony is around 2.4. So I think that's 400. Okay, and I think our first floor walls are typically done, and we can see what we have, and our building is taking shape. All right, so in the next session we would go into doors and windows. Okay, so that will give our building more. Okay, doors, windows and floors, we will do all three in the next session. All right, thank you all, and then see you in the next video. Bye.